Hey guys, it's Merce. Welcome back to Harpies in the Trees, where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. Welcome to 2022! Yeah! I'm real stoked about it. Really can't even believe that I'm saying those numbers together. 2022. I definitely want to apologize to you guys. I didn't have a couple of videos last week because I was not feeling good. I just was really in a bad depression. So I just kind of curled up into a ball and wasn't doing a lot, but I do feel better today and I'm just really grateful for that. I'm always really just surprised sometimes when the fog lifts or the storm stops or whatever you want to call it. It's like, oh yeah, right. I like living. But even though I was a little bit incapacitated, I did actually do something. I've been playing No Man's Sky and I've done some reading. I did finish The Exorcist and I did finish Frozen Charlotte. So I'm very excited to talk about these later on this week. I didn't finish Black Chronicles yet by John Saul, but I am a little more than halfway through, so hopefully I can get through that. I just impulsively pulled this out one day. I was in a mood. And I was like, I need some creepy doll stuff going on right now. So I didn't have a review for this week, but I thought a really great video to start off the year with would be talking about the new releases that are coming out for January and February, supernatural only, of course, ghosts and demons and haunted houses and such. I did not include middle grade horror, YA horror, or horror anthologies in this list. Only I just wanted to focus on adult horror. But I'm really happy about what's coming out. There seems to be a pretty good variety here. There are some unique settings, some unique stories here that I think will be interesting to some of you or all of you. So we will get into that in a moment. I just wanted to say really quickly, thank you to everyone who was able to hang out in the live chat for the Served Cold video on December 30th. That was so much fun. And it's just really nice to sort of experience it together like that with subscribers and viewers and you know, the other people who are participating. It just kind of makes it more of like this event and it's just always really fun. So thank you so much for coming to that. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So we're going to talk about all of these books in the order that they are released. And our first one is going to be released on January 18th. It is by J.G. Faherty, and it is called The Awakening. And this is a demonic possession book, which is so great because ever since I've read The Exorcist, I feel like my expectations for demonic possession have risen up pretty high, so I do have some high expectations. I've been riding the exorcism like demon boat for a while now, that I was really excited to watch The Unholy, which is an adaptation of James Herbert's The Shrine. It was not good, let me tell you. It was not good at all. I liked the poster artwork and I think that was literally about it. So that was really disappointing. I think I will read The Shrine and do a book versus film thing because I just have to know like who's responsible for that. So the book is about this old retired priest. He gets put into a position where he has to perform an exorcism again. But it will be facing this demon that he's already faced before. And this was like 20, 30 years ago when he was a lot younger and stronger and had more fortitude. So now he needs help. So he seeks out a team of people to help him. Some of them are paranormal investigators, spiritualists, psychics, and there's even a defrocked priest who joins his team. So he has a pretty colorful group of people, all who have different types of disciplines and backgrounds and stuff like that. So hopefully this all comes together to not only defeat Asmodeus, but hopefully for me, maybe give us a little bit more information about anything. The devil, the demon, hell, like what they're there for. Just something really interesting. It sounds like you have a team of people that could possibly get that information for you. It sounds really cool. I just hope that they can actually pull it off. Don't rely on, the religious and demonic tropes that we've already seen a million times, because
I will scream. I will scream.
Our next book is released on January 25th, and this has a pretty unique premise. I mean, at least to me, it's new. The story is called The Road of Bones by Christopher Golden. It's a supernatural road trip thriller. The story is about an American who wants to go to Russia to document ghost stories, kind of like Grimm's fairy tales. He will be traveling on this very specific highway, though, called the Road of Bones. The Road of Bones is extremely dangerous. It's icy, it's snowy, it's just a playground for car accidents. And so many people have lost their lives there. But that's not really what makes this highway the Road of Bones. This highway is actually going right across a graveyard that was used by the former Soviet Union for its Gulag prisoners. So this American documentarian finds himself being haunted and hunted by not only ghosts, but also strange beasts and other things, and also something from his past. I don't have any concerns about this story. It just sounds so good. It just sounds so good. This is also perfect for winter because it's just gonna be neck deep in snow. Like I just can feel it in my bones already. Our next book is released on January 25th. It is a haunted house story. Yeah. It's called Devil House by John Darnielle. If you remember in Kill Creek by Scott Thomas, we had 4 authors. They go to this haunted house to do a podcast interview or like a live streaming event. And in this one, we have a true crime writer all by himself decides to buy a legit haunted house. And this haunted house isn't haunted by something ancient or Victorian or whatever. No. In this house, there was a pretty contemporary crime that happened in the 1980s that was pretty grisly. And he's going to be writing about this. He's a writer who has had some successes, but he's really kind of petered off, and he's looking to kind of have a comeback and just have a good project. So he's really deep diving into this one. I mean, he's buying the house where the crime actually happened, and he's going to write this book. But as he leans into this whole entire idea of his, and he starts learning about the murder and all the details, there's something familiar in there. Something connected to him. So I love this idea. You have a haunted house, you have a true crime author, he's gonna buy the house, but not only is it a haunted house, but it's actually like a crime that he's gonna be researching. So now he's gonna be totally in this environment, just completely meta, you know what I mean? My only concerns would be like, please let it be scary. Like, I just want it to be like the actual hauntings to be scary. And there also looks like there's something here that's tying him to this place. So I hope that's cool and interesting. Our last book for January is Hold My Place by Cassandra Windwalker. It is released on January 25th. And this is a gothic supernatural story. This kind of gives me like Bluebeard vibes. This is about a woman named Sigrun who falls in love with this really charming, handsome dude named Edgar, who also reciprocates in her desires and love for him. And he romances her and wraps her in a lot of sensuality. So Sigrun is, she's like, yeah, I'm into this. But Edgar is actually married. But luckily for Sigrun, his wife passes away, and Sigrun is able to move into the still warm marital bed. But there's something going on. Bliss soon turns to tension and anxiety and mistrust as she starts to learn things about Edgar that she didn't know before. Like, oh, he's been married once, twice, thrice. Where are all those women? Well, they're gone. there's also some kind of disturbances that are happening in their home. Something that seems like it's pretty restless. This is a typical Gothic supernatural story. I'm here for it. My hope is that it's written very beautifully and that I get a lot of that like kind of house porn, you know, like mansion stuff, you know, like secret doors and secret rooms and just candles in the hallways and, you know, just stuff like that, like nightgowns, that kind of thing. And that there's a lot of spooky dead wives hanging out in this house. Our first book for February is on February 8th. It's by Sarah Gran and is called The Book of the Most Precious Substance. This story is about a woman who is a rare bookseller. So she sells old books, ancient books, you know, hard to find tomes, first editions and hardcovers and stuff like that. And this is her life. It's not extremely exciting. It's a bit dull, to be honest, but this is what she does. One day she comes across, I guess, a request, I think, or something that is talking about this very specific book. It's an elusive book. It is a book that people are not sure actually exists, but it is a book that people, wealthy people, are looking for. This book is about sex magic.
Sex magic to enhance the mood?
And it's believed to actually work. If this book actually exists, it is worth a fortune. A fortune. So this little rare bookseller decides to hunt this book down. She begins to travel to different cities to meet with people who might have any type of information for her to follow. Because if she can find it, she's going to be set. She is going to be set. But if she does find this book, will she sell it to the highest bidder? The highest bidder being wealthy people who are in cults or practice black magic. Or will she use the book for her own sensual desires? This sounds like it has the potential to be really, really interesting. I like this story of just this ordinary person who gets wrapped up in this kind of crazy adventure and seeing what and how they will do with it based on how it affects them. You know, kind of like a monkey paw thing, probably, maybe, I don't know. Also coming out on February 8th is Dead Silence. Not That Dead Silence. That Dead Silence. By S.A. Barnes. This is a sci-fi horror. This is one of those rare sci-fi horror gems. This sounds so good. I've been playing No Man's Sky for about 4 or 5 days now, and I love it to death. Like, it's so cool. And I'm all about finding hidden shit on planets or hanging out somewhere in space, going through black holes. I mean, I'm just totally into it. So this really piqued my interest. This is about a woman named Claire and her crew on her ship, her frigate or something. They end up picking up a distress beacon. I love the distress beacon. It's always bad news. They end up following these coordinates and they find this luxury liner that's super famous. I'm not sure if it's famous because of the actual like ship itself, or it's famous because it just disappeared 20 years ago and got lost somewhere in space and nobody knows where it went. But it got lost on its very first voyage out. So, you know, everything was pretty brand new. So they see this ship and they're like, this is the best day ever. Because now we get to salvage like all of this stuff. We're gonna have so many materials and resources. We're gonna have so much money. But as soon as they step their feet onto the deck of this luxury liner, there's something wrong. I love this. It sounds so good. I love like lost ships. I don't care if it's on sea or it's in space. Either way, I love that. So this is super cool. My only fear with this would be like, you know, just in how it's written. I have a really hard time visualizing certain types of sci-fi stuff. Like, it's just not, my brain just doesn't really work that way. So sometimes it can be really, really hard for me to imagine like these technologies they're making up, if they're not familiar to me already, or, you know, how like maybe like what the floor plan is for things that could be very complicated. Like, so that's the only thing I kind of worry about.
So actually, I forgot about this one, but I definitely wanted to put it in here. This is Beneath the Stairs by Jennifer Fawcett. And this is a haunted house story. It's about an abandoned house with a horrible past that's discovered by two best friends named Claire and Abby. Claire finds her way out after they're done exploring and waits for Abby, but she never comes out. 20 years later, Claire learns that Abby tried to kill herself in the abandoned house and has been in a coma. She really wants to understand how this happened and what was behind all of this, so Claire returns back to the house. So I like this setup. I love abandoned homes, as you know, especially when they have just a really terrible past. And just this mystery that happens between these two friends sounds pretty juicy. So that's really cool. My only fear about it would just be, that it might lack atmosphere. I really like there to be a lot of atmosphere, especially for abandoned places. It just really amps up the eerie and spooky factor. And I hope the mystery is cool.
This next book is released on February 15th, but it was originally released in 1942 from Norway. It was just recently translated into English for the first time. And the story sounds good. It sounds so awesome. So this story is called The Lake of the Dead. It's by Andre Bjerke. I think that's how you say that. If not, let me know down in the comments. This is a haunted cabin in the woods story, so I know a lot of you guys are gonna love that. 110 years ago, a murder-suicide took place in this cabin way, way deep in the Norwegian woods. No one knows why it happened or what the reasoning was for it or anything. So the cabin just kind of stays like empty for 100 or so years. And it's built up this reputation of being cursed. I'm assuming it's like 1942 because that's when it was written. So in 1942, a student goes missing after he rented the cabin. He rented the cabin just so he could study there because it would be really nice and quiet and he wouldn't be bothered, get a lot of work done, but he ends up missing. So now his group of friends are looking for him and they're trying to find the cabin to figure out what happened to their friend. This sounds like it's going to be atmospheric, it's going to be moody. I think it's going to be probably pretty cool on how maybe the forest is represented, and also maybe the haunting itself might be unique and unusual to us who maybe don't know much about Norwegian horror. So that's very exciting. Our last book for February comes out on February 22nd. And it is called The Haunting of Las Lagrimas, and it is by W.M. Cleese. And this is a gothic supernatural story. This is a story about a young English woman, who is a gardener. She has a very green thumb, and she is hired by some family in Buenos Aires to be their head gardener and bring their garden back to life, bring it back to its former glory. But once she's there, she's realizing that there's something off. She's not exactly sure what it is, but there's definitely something going on. She's also hearing things in the woods. She's hearing rumors about the mansion. But will she be able to figure out what's happening before it's too late? So this is another one of those gothic tales where we have an outsider who comes to a place. And now the stranger has to unwind what's happening because they've been, ensnared here for some reason. So, yeah. So these are the releases coming out for January and February. Supernatural, haunted houses, gothic, horror, sci-fi, really some cool books here. I hope that you find at least one that sounds interesting to you. Let me know down in the comments which one of these sounds good to you, that you might pick up. If you found this video useful, please like and comment down below. I'd appreciate that so much. If you'd like to get more videos from me, please subscribe. Other than that, please take care of yourselves, look out for each other, and I will talk to you next time.